Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. This is Elder RG coming to you from just basically outside in the elements, just having a good time today. Um, and wanted to get on here to encourage you that definitely your life is a blessing today. Last week I did a post and I just felt moved to come back again and to say, I love you. Hey, Elder Frida. Hey, Tony, Elder Tony Jones. I love you, man. That's my bro. Life has been good this week. And I'm excited. I'm excited just to know that I am loved and you are loved. I've been really proclaiming that all this week because I want people to really get that no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through, I'm going to stay in the shade. You are truly loved. Wow, just got back in the country. Okay. I hope you had a good time. Yeah, hit me up later, bro, and we'll definitely talk. Last week, I think around the 13th, ended Mental Health Awareness Week. And I really love to speak on mental health awareness because I myself, in my life, have been in places and spaces where I really had to stop and take a look at myself. I do not profess to be a medical doctor. I have not been clinically trained how to deal with signs of distress. But what I can know from my own personal journey, I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today. And in hopes of sharing my personal journey, it is my desire that people go get the help that they might need if something should arise. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And at the beginning of the onset of it, I was probably in my 30s. I really didn't know what the world was going on with me because I had never felt the way that I was feeling. And I felt like different feelings and sensations of wanting to harm myself. Thank God when I heard those type of things or felt that type of way, I ran quickly to get the help that I needed. Little did I know during that time I would have what some people would call in this medical field a psychotic break. I had it. I was hospitalized for some time, like 14 days. And what I discovered in that journey of self-reflection is that when you stop and take care of you, when you need to do that the most, it will change your life forever. That changed my life because by nature in my family structure as I was growing up, I always took the role on as being caretaker. And I think many of us take those roles on in our lives, and then when it's time to take care of ourselves, we may feel guilty, we may feel ashamed, or we may be shamed into feeling that it's more important to take care of someone else before you can take care of yourself. But I'm a living witness. No matter what it is that you're facing and what you're going through, there are going to be times in your... Sorry for the interruption. My phone rang. That you're going to have to take some self-care. So back then I stopped and I was, what I still do now, I was in ministry. And the hardest thing for me to do at that time was realize in the moment that I need to really stop and take care of me. But I had some excellent support and a support system that demanded that I do what I needed to do for me. And I am so grateful today because had they not done that and had they not stood firm in their belief system, in their knowing of what taking care of yourself could do from their perspective, and sometimes you need somebody to really tell you the truth about you. And you may not want to hear it at the time. You may think that it is a detriment. But sometimes hearing someone come in objectively and look at you and say, look, hey, my brother, my sister, you need to take a break. You need to relax. You need to get you together. You need to breathe. You need to exhale. You need to really get the assistance that you need, can be the difference between night and day. Because of support systems like my spiritual family, my biological family, the medical professionals that came into my life. I can name a few because they're gone on to the other side today, and I know they're looking down and they're smiling. My mother was very helpful in my healing. My psychiatric doctor, Dr. Turkin, 5P21 years ago, was basically the doctor that said, hey, this is what we're going to do. The Minority AIDS Project and Archbishop Bean, my spiritual connection, and Senior Bishop Jones and Elder Frida, you see her a lot on here. These were individuals that showed up and showed out in my life and gave me the strength that I needed to just stop and be okay with understanding and learning to understand me. And one of the things I would like to say about being aware of what's going on with you or your friends or your loved ones is awareness. And as I was going through the process, I had to educate everyone on what was happening with me. What I didn't understand, I got the book and I read a lot about it. I read everything could get my hands on, so I could have a basic understand. I'm sorry, it came to my eye, of what was truly going on and how I could make the difference, because I wanted to live and I refused to die. And I wanted to basically say to myself that you are worth it. We are worth everything that we desire to happen in our journey for our betterment, for our wholeness, and our wellness. We all deserve to be whole and complete. And we already are. It's just walking in that awareness. It's just basking in that awareness. It's just knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you are okay. And we know that sometimes when we just stop. And I was just looking at Frida's post this morning, and she says, do you just stop and breathe? How many of us just stop and breathe? How many of us just really stop and say, sometimes it's more to our advantage to just stop and breathe and just take it all in, take life in, and don't take it in to the point where you just drive yourself, just too much going on, but take it in a sense that you really know that when you can relax, release, and let go of some of those things that are bothering you, you can grow as a human being. I'm excited because life shows up in a way in order to educate us to live our best life in the moment. Self-reflection and mindfulness causes us to just stop and be aware of what's happening in this moment. I like to call it, in what I learned in a course like last month around mindfulness, the audit, the mindfulness audit. Our thoughts can hijack us and change the trajectory of our day. They can change our moods. And when certain thoughts come our way, we have to really be aware in that moment of what are the thoughts that we are feeling. What's going on? How do we feel about it? What do we intend to do about it? What would we like to see happen? And how are we going to respond in the moment? Really, right now, in this moment, is really all that we have. And because it's all that we have, we can stop and embrace and think, what do I need to know right now about me? What am I feeling about me? What is life saying to me? What are the situations and the circumstances that I'm going through giving me an opportunity to do? Basically, I tell you, these flies, they love to be in the atmosphere because that's what they do. And we're grateful for them. But let me tell you this. We have a right to live authentically, empowered, for the moment. Because when we live empowered in each moment of our lives, we begin to see that it spills over and it continues, and it's like infectious. It's like when you have a positive mindset, when you begin to think positively, when you begin to see yourself as someone that is going to be, that is an overcomer, that you're no longer a victim. At a certain points in my life, I never took time to stop and audit what was going on in my mind. I never took time to really think about and be mindful of the pain that I had held on to from my childhood, from the abuse, from the molestation. I never took time to say, you know what, that person took my power away because they captivated me with fear. But now that I know differently, now that I have some different tools, I have to stop, and I'm going to let that go. And I'm not going to let that victimize me to the point that I am stagnant and I cannot move in my life. Get the help that you need. I did, man. I went to every therapist. I talked to every doctor. I got all the medication I needed. And I realized one important thing, especially in communities of color, of African descent. We think when someone has had a mental health issue that they're crazy. I'm not going to no doctor because I'm not crazy. I'm not, or I feel good. I feel better now, so I'm going to stop taking my medication. And the worst thing for any individual, I think, and like I said before, and I'm going to keep on reiterating this. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just telling you from my personal experience. When I felt better and thought, oh, I don't have to do this no more. I don't have to do these things that I learned, these tools to take care of myself. I don't have to sleep my 8 hours a day. I don't have to eat properly. When I decided to do differently and not do some of those things, let me tell you what happened. I ended up back in the same place that brought me to a brink of self-destruction. So I like to call that sometimes me being physically bankrupt, financially bankrupt, spiritually bankrupt, and socially bankrupt. That's what I was, because I refused to do what I needed to do and maintain. You have to. I remember hearing Tyler Perry say in a sermon like a couple of months ago in Texas that maintain the level of your pattern that you're sowing to, and I'm just paraphrasing, in your life. Maintain it. Fly and maintain. Don't let nobody stop you. And then as you do that, I was able, some years later, as I begin to see how I think and how I feel and what moves me, what shakes me, I begin to know the warning signs. Some of y'all and me, we know the warning signs of our bodies, of our minds, and we would like to sometimes not pay attention to that, and we start denying what we're feeling, what we know, and then we go to like, that's not really happening with me. Yes, it is. Hey, whoever you are, whatever help you need, if you need someone to listen to you, go to a counseling center. If you need someone to listen to you, go to a spiritual advisor. If you are agnostic or atheist, hey, let me tell you, you go and find your power within you that gives you an opportunity to be the better you. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just saying do it. However you need to do, it's about saving your life. It's about saving the lives, because what happens to us impacts everyone else around us, whether we recognize it or not. We often talk about this in trying to fight for prison reform, and we try to explain to our brothers and our sisters, when you or I or anyone in our family goes to prison or to jail, on some levels, the family is so impacted, the children may find themselves in a mental jail because they really want that father figure or that mother figure to be there, and they're not able to be there. And then it takes time and years to uncover what are the real issues that cause us to find ourselves in situations, and many of us are still in prisons of our mind because somebody told us we didn't look good enough, because somebody told me years ago, they used to tease me, oh, you too black. They used to call me Blackie. They used to call me all kind of names about my color. And then black became in, dark chocolate became in, and then everybody was after me. And my mind was so shifted back with what they used to tease me, I could not accept that someone could appreciate who uniquely I was. And so as people start appreciating me and I started to look in the mirror and really take an examination, I could then be powerful enough to appreciate myself. So then I didn't need an outward expression of telling me that I was okay, because it started coming from the inside. Some of you sitting here on this broadcast today, I have come to tell you, start on the inside to say to yourself today, I am that I am. Like the scriptures speak of, I am okay. I am awesome. I am loved. I am beautiful. The color of my hair, the texture of my skin, the width of my body, it's all good. And whatever areas I feel that I need to improve for me, for my health, for my mental stability, for where I want to go in this journey, I have a right to take and participate in my growing. I like something I hear a good friend of mine always say, Frida Lenoir. She always says, you make the choice of where you are today. You do. Whatever you decide, it is where you're going to be. So I like to say, yes, there are systemic issues in society that come up that tend to try to keep people blocked and beat down and feel like they're inadequate, they're inferior. But guess what? You can overcome those systemic issues and trappings in this planet, and you can demand your rights. You can stand up equally in the world, and you can say, I don't care what you say, but I know different. I don't care. If we just look at our own history, I don't care what color you are, whatever you come from, if you've been oppressed by something or some system or some organization or family members, if you've been oppressed and made to feel shame about who you uniquely are, there are history stories in our background. There are ancestors that have gone on before us that have proven to us, if we take time to study and read and think about things and go inside, we will find out some individuals in the path of history have overcome so many obstacles that everybody tried to throw in their way. They did it. They were the first. Could you imagine somebody telling Barack Obama, man, you're not going to ever be president? Somewhere in his heart and his mind, when he said, I'm going to be president, he had to make up in his mind, no matter what, I'm going to be president, no matter what people think, no matter the fact that there's never been an African American who has ever donned the White House, but I'm going to be the first to do it. He had to get a mindset. He had to say in his knower, he had to say, I'm going to be that today. He had to begin to walk like the president. He had to begin to talk like the president. He had to begin to show up in rooms like the president. See, some of us are sitting there showing up in rooms subservient and feeling that we have to change for somebody else because we don't feel that we're worthy enough to be what we desire. I'm telling you today, you are worthy. And when you walk up in the room like you know that you are the corporate owner of a company, you walk up in the room like that and watch people say, oh, I want to go into business with you. Walk up in the room like you're the CEO of the company you presently work for, and you'll rise up the ranks, and you'll look up one day and you'll be at the top, and people would say, well, how did so-and-so get there? They didn't have this. They didn't have this experience. They didn't have over 20 years of experiences. They don't have a PhD. What they had was hunger. They had drive. You got to be hungry for success. We have to be hungry to live better in our lives. We have to be hungry, in how we show up. And we cannot feel defeated There are going to be times that life is going to show up. There are going to be times when we're going to be hurt. There are going to be times when people are going to talk about us. There are going to be times that old tapes rise up in our minds of how we've been hurt. But when those tapes come up, I want to tell you what you got to do. You got to slap them down. You got to feel what you feel and then say, okay, I felt that. But guess what? I don't have to stay there. And that's what I do presently today. When I'm feeling moody or when I'm feeling that my moods are shifting or swinging, see, I know me and I've learned me. Nobody knows me better than I know me. You may think you know me. Come on here, somebody. Somebody thinks they know the real you, but they really don't. The real you, they may know parts of us. People know parts of who we are, but they don't always know the real us in every aspect. You cannot lie to you. I'm sitting out here in a beautiful park in the city of Lakeside, and I took this time out because I said, guess what, Gerald? Why are you ashamed of what you've been through in your life? Why don't you share it? Share this good news like they call the gospel. The gospel is known as good news in spiritual circles. Share the good news of life. We can have so many times we can look at the news, and by the time we get through looking at the news, we're so depressed, and we're so depressed because there's so much drama. It's not that we should not look at the issues and the situations that are going on, but sometimes turn off bad news and turn on good news. Sometimes put the phone down if somebody is talking about negativity and listen to something that's positive. Today I feel this. I feel empowered. Excuse me. One thing I discovered over the last month, and I am honest about this, I'm so real about this, is that life will present itself. Life is so short. But how will you decide that you want to live today? Stop putting off what you really desire to do today for tomorrow. I'll give you an example. Last week I went to the studio and I took some pictures. I had been wanting to take pictures, professional pictures, for over a year. And I said, let me take some professional pictures. And I said, okay, guess what? I'm going to just take it and I'm going to go to JCPenney's and I'm going to take these pictures. And what I enjoyed about the process of going through and learning how to pose and what to do, what I did, I said, now this gives me an opportunity to know when I go to another studio to take more pictures, how I should do and what I want and how I sense I want to be and the poses that I want to do. But the thing is, I got up off of my deuce nothing and did something. I didn't wait for somebody to tell me it was okay for me to go take pictures. I went and I took them. And for years, I was always waiting for someone to tell me it was okay to be me. Wow. Have you ever been there where you just waited for somebody else to tell you it was okay to be you, but you were showing up anyway? I'm talking about the positive you. I'm talking about the things that allow you to soar. I started off this presentation by saying, in recognition of the week that just passed, mental health awareness, we have to be aware of where we are in our lives. Because I decided to step forward and authentically deal with me, my life has been better. Because of that, I can firmly stand as a testimonial to tell you I have not, in the last 16 years, going on 17 or maybe 18 years, been hospitalized because I maintain what I need to do in that aspect to be where I am today. And maintain means just having a positive atmosphere. And when you feel down, look up, talk to people, get on the phone, get to somebody that make you laugh. Sometimes laughter is the best medicine. Oh my God. There are times that I just start laughing at me because I know I can be a riot sometimes. Laughing at myself and giving myself permission to just have a good time. Sometimes I'll just stop and I'll just sing and sing. And yesterday I just stopped for a couple of moments and I sung. I brought out my studio equipment and I just had the music blasting, and I taped something, and I was excited about it because I hadn't got a chance to do it in a long time. Those things that allow you to be peaceful and connect with your higher sense of self and power are the things that you need to connect with, because it's going to be the difference between night and day. So today I want to say to those of you who've been struggling with whatever you've been struggling with, if you've been struggling with a broken relationship, if you've been struggling with a broken heart, if you've been struggling with bereavement, if you've been struggling with financial issues, God knows, I know how that is, but I also know of how you can overcome any situation. And what seems impossible becomes possible because of your belief system in you. I'm going to say that again. Believe you. Today, we are spiritually sound and set, are people of goodwill because somebody stood up and said no more. Somebody said no more. Somebody said, no more. I'm not going to have this no more. You won't talk to me the same way you've talked to me no more. You won't disrespect me no more. I won't allow you to feel that it's okay for you to go off on me. Let's keep it 100. That's why people are not busting down church doors today, because people are tired of people not keeping it 100. It ain't nothing wrong with going to church. There's nothing wrong with not going to church. What seems to happen is that people have become so institutionalized in how things should run that they forget the essence of what family is in the space of connectedness and togetherness. It's about that. It's about connecting. It ain't about always the music. It's not always about the good preaching word. It ain't always about... I don't care if you go to a mosque, a synagogue. I don't care if you go to a positive affirmation thought setting. I don't care if you are Buddhist, Hindu, if you chant. Whatever it is you are, it really is about community and how you connect with each other when you show up there. Because there is a text in the Bible that I read that is 1 Corinthians 13, and it says, these three are left. I think it says hope, charity, love. But the greatest of these is love. It is. It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest equalizer. It flattens the playing field. If you show up loving and everybody shows up loving, the playing field is equal. Love doesn't care that we're billionaires or we are a homeless person. It will show up and it will do for what it needs to do for the homeless person as much as it will do for the billionaire. It will do for the woman what it would do for the man. It will do for any spectrum in between, the children as the seniors. That's what love does. Love has no boundaries. Are you putting a boundary on your love today? Are you putting a boundary on your love today? Are you or I putting a boundary on our love today? Are we putting a condition on our love today? Well, if you do this, then you do that, I'm going to love you. Well, I love you in spite of what you do for me or don't do for me. Because what I've realized, honestly, to goodness thing, especially in the last month, nobody is the source but the provider of all things. And so I'm being inclusive because I don't care how you see it. However you interact and you touch, with no one can provide for you like you. No one cares like you care. No one will. I'm telling you. I'm a witness. Your partner, as much as they will love you, and your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, or your wife, no matter how much they love you and no matter how long they stay on the planet with you, if you don't care enough for you, you won't be able to receive the love that they have for you. I won't be able to receive the love. It took me years to be able to just receive the love that someone has for me without waiting for the bottom to fall out. So today, I don't know how long I've been here, but I thank you for showing up and showing out and showing your love. And as you go through this day, just know you will be in perfect peace when you keep your mind centered on the possibilities of the greatness that you were born to do. Each of us are born for this time and season on the planet. How will you live today? What will you do differently? What will I do differently today? Will I accomplish the goals that I have set for myself? Would I allow someone else to diminish my calm peace and my energy and my spirit? And I tell you, people from time to time will try your calm peace of your soul. They will do everything that they possibly can. Basically, sometimes because they cannot or may not be happy with what's going on with them. I love you too, everybody. I love you. I love you. I decided to say, what can I do with me, what I have? What can I do with what I've experienced in my life? How can I give that back? How can I impart? And I've always been a motivational speaker. I've always been able to motivate people. Let me tell you, I'm a brother that grew up, first of all, off of 56 in Vermont, 56 in Normandy, between Normandy and Vermont. Then I moved to 71st Street in Vermont, near Hoover, right in the middle, right in the area where they pulled out, historically, they pulled out that guy, Reginald Denny, out of the truck. That's where I grew up. And people said the people who grow up on that side of town can't do nothing, can't be nothing. But I decided one day I was not going to let people decide with their statistics, with their understanding of their research, what and who I was going to be. I decided one day that I would not let somebody else's goals of success determine what I feel success is for me. I decided one day that I would stop and then embrace whatever it is I feel and see as my success and pass it along. Do the same, my brothers and my sisters. Do the same. When you see your young people out here, love them. Don't take advantage of people who don't know because they have not lived long enough as you have lived. Love them. There's so many of our young people and our seniors and our elders and in between that are feeling isolated today. If you have a sense that someone is feeling isolated and they're feeling hopeless and they don't know what to do and you feel it, don't be afraid to say, I'm here for you, I love you, and what can we do for you? Now, if it's in turn they don't respond a certain way, all you can do is plant the seed. And then you have to allow the universe to do what it does in helping and healing someone. I like to say in my journey, in my spiritual experience, God, the infinite reality, to do what it does best. And that's a testament because I'm a personal witness that it will do what it needs to do. So as I close, I want you to tell somebody, and I want you to share this with all your friends on your page to let them know there is nothing impossible. All they have to do is believe. Nothing impossible. Tell them Elder RG is coming to you live and saying nothing is impossible. Keep it 100. perfection is only in the mind of what people think perfection is. We all have something to work on. We all will be working on something until we leave this planet. But what we can do is be accountable and put the work in. We can do that. We can be accountable and put the work in. Are you willing to put the work in today? Are you willing to do something for yourself special today? Yesterday I cooked myself a special meal. I cooked my spaghetti. Now, it was simple. And I know my brother is probably saying, you know you ought to mail me some. Freezer to mail me some. He loves my spaghetti. My brother Tony. But then one day I decided I just have a taste for my chicken. I'm going to bake me some chicken. Am I Martha Stewart? I don't want to be Martha Stewart. I want to be Gerald Green. So however that chicken came out, it was the best chicken that I ever cooked in my life. Yesterday was the best spaghetti I cooked in my life. And what I enjoyed about what I did, usually I eat off of paper plates. Let me be real. But you know what I decided? I decided to set the table up. And I set the table up with the finest dish set I had. And I put the drinking glasses out there. And I put the napkins and the forks. And I did all of that. Because I desired and I knew that I deserved to do the best. I took time to do that yesterday. And it was good. I didn't let someone else distract me that said, oh, we can just eat off of paper plates. No, I want to eat off of plates. Now, I can't deny you from eating off paper plates if that's what you desire. And there's nothing wrong with eating off of paper plates. Don't get me wrong. But guess what I'm going to do? Today I'm going to eat off the finest china that we have. Why? Because this moment is the only moment I have. And I wanted to celebrate me. And I wanted to celebrate what life can do. And you just have all this stuff in your house and you ain't using it. I'm going to share this a little bit. And I'm always authentic. When we were cleaning out my mother's things, she had beautiful crystal. I mean, she had crystal galore. When them sisters started collecting crystal, oh my God. She had just crystal this and crystal that. And I used to, it's funny, when we used to have dinner years ago, I would say, Thanksgiving, I'd be like, Mom, what are you doing? She's like, oh, no, I'm going to just use. I said, no, let's get the plates out. You paid all that money for that china. Let's use it. You paid for nice things that you desire. Use them. There's some things that are so free. Like some of us are walking around this beautiful landscape. I wish I could take you to see some of this landscape if my camera could just give you some of the background of the landscape without being so dark. But this is beautiful landscape. I think it's gonna get too dark, but we're just walking around, and walking and being in touch with you is free. Breathing is free. I love all of you. I see 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 you in all of your greatness. Until next time, Elder Archie coming to you live. Peace.